decision, because either that or everybody in Washington, D.C. is getting high.
Yeah, I don't know how much protection we can be with a Space Force. I think it would be like, a little kindergarten kid playing one-on-one against Shaquille O'Neal. I don't think there'd be much of a match with that. I just don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think also, why don't we see pictures of the backside of the moon?
Yeah, that's a good point. And I've seen some of that videos from the moon, and there was that one, like I asked the one guest that was on it, it looks like a smokestack with smoke coming out of it, and it's on the moon as the orbiter is going around it. It's just weird. I don't know what to think of it, but why haven't we? I
don't know if smoke would be coming out of it because you have no atmosphere there. So I think the smoke would come out, and it would just, it would be nothing to dissipate it.
I know it's a weird video. I'm surprised you've never seen it. It's on there. It's been around a while.
I've seen it, and I kind of put that as a hoax. That one.
Oh, okay.
Because again, think about this. If you take a room with no atmosphere or anything, no oxygen, no nothing, and you just put even a little bit of smoke in there, after a while, it's not going to dissipate because there's no winds to blow it away. So
let me ask you this. If there's no atmosphere, how come you can't see no stars then from none of the videos?
That is a weird question, too. Of course, some people say the moon is a hollow sphere. It's an alien craft that was towed here at one point, and they're watching us. Well, maybe it is. Maybe we're a amusement park for aliens. They come on the moon and they sit there with their telescopes and watch us humanoids.
Well, I don't believe. I do know that when they dropped from the craft there, when they went to the moon, when it hit the Earth, it rang and for hours or whatever. But I don't think if it was hollow, I don't think that it would have the power to affect the gravity to affect our tides if it was hollow as much as it does. I mean, I could be wrong. I don't know, but it's just what I kind of think.
I don't know. Mel, it depends on how many aliens are in the moon. It could be the moon could be nothing but a big hotel for aliens.
Well, it could be like that planet there that was a ship in Star Wars, or what do they call it, Death Star or something. That it was really a ship, but they thought it was a planet. But yeah, these are all theories. I mean, as crazy as anything else, I guess.
Now, anybody out there watching on Facebook Live or listening to us on one of the radio stations or on the internet, if you've been ever abducted, or if you know anybody, any family members or friends have been abducted, do me a favor. Send me an email, and I'll get back to you. It'll take a couple days, but I'll get back to you at nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. That's nightdreamstalkradio@gmail.com. I want to hear about it because, it seems like all of a sudden now, James, people are coming out of the woodwork claiming that they have been abducted and claiming that they've had implants put into them.
Well, yeah, and I have found this. I mentioned this last night with all the reports I've get and other people that I know that do research and things. A lot of people that have been abducted or have had UFO sightings or have seen Bigfoot or other cryptids or other things, sometimes they don't report it for maybe a month, 2 months, a year, or years after. It's just because of maybe where they live or they're afraid to lose their job or other scenarios or variables that go into this, but sometimes they don't report it right away. And here's the thing, who do you report it to if you don't know anybody like us?
Well, I mean, you could call 911, but the operator's going to, all of a sudden, hey, they're going to call up Western State or some mental hospital, and they're going to come in the whites and take you away. But, a lot of people, I think they've been abducted. They've been screened, erased, the whole circumstance of their abduction. And so they don't even know they've been abducted. And slowly, little pieces come back together over a period of time. And maybe that's why you'll have people coming back a year, 2 years, 10 years later and saying, you know what? I was abducted. That's a possibility. The other thing it could be that maybe they've been watching Star Wars too much.
No, yeah, right. And another theory that I've got just from different research I've done is I believe they also put false memories in a lot of people, and I also believe that they put these things in your head where you might be looking at aliens, and you've talked about this before, you might be seeing owls, or you might, instead of seeing the aliens, you're seeing some type of animal or something else. But I definitely think they can mess with your mind so to more control you.
Well, I think they what they do is basically erase your thoughts of what happened. And again, maybe something triggers it, and all of a sudden you start remembering it. The problem is also TV and movies. People have been brainwashed watching what? Sci-fi, UFO movies, space movies, Star Trek on TV for years. So when they go to bed at night, your mind sometimes kind of like makes up like another world. Okay? And all of a sudden people start having dreams about UFOs and maybe being abducted. We got to separate those two from the people that actually have been abducted to the people who are having lucid dreams.
Well, another thing, you bring up a good point right there. All through the years, through generational DNA passed on and watching TVs, they're in our brains. So we have a set kind of ideas of what aliens look like or whatever. We have these visions already in our brains. So maybe all these aliens are coming here. They might not be nothing more than something we can't even see, or it might be more than just invisible air. But yet they can get in our mind and make us see what they want us to see. So we're pre-programmed. We see little grays. Maybe they're not even little grays, but that's what they want us to see because they're going with what's already in our brain. Or maybe we're not even capable of ingesting what they really look like, if you know what I'm saying.
Maybe they're so freaking ugly that if we saw them, we'd keel over dead with a heart attack. We don't know. But, a lot of people describe grays. It just, or the lizard man, or all this other type of stuff. I think a lot of that is being influenced because of the media, TV shows and all this stuff. And that's what people think that they look like. We just honestly, I don't know what they look like. We don't. We didn't have enough time last night to ask that. That was on my list to ask Terry last night, Terry Lovelace. What did these aliens look like? And we ran out of time again because his story, you could have him on the show for 6 hours. And still in 6 hours, you wouldn't get everything. But I'll tell you what, if you do report it, look what happened to him. Him and his buddy didn't want to report it, but Terry thought the right thing to do was report their encounter with the UFO, the abduction, and all this stuff. And how did the military, the guys in the suits and the badges come and treat him? They treated him like they were either, criminals or whatever. And they were threatening a roundabout way, no doubt. You can go to Leavenworth if you don't sign these papers. Well, that's going to prison. So, he had to sign the papers. But to be given a form of LSD, to reach into his mind to find out what happened that night, that's as bad as being abducted and going through all that crap with the aliens.
It is. It really is. And there was, you're right about the species. I was going to kind of ask him that one too, and I was also going to ask him how many different ones he'd seen. But I had strongly thought that he'd been abducted all through his life because he's seen the one at 3 or 5 years old, and then another one 3 years later. And he comes to find out he really thinks he has, or he has been. And I bet there's more memories that will come out that he hasn't even got yet.
I think there's a lot more he doesn't want to talk about.
Yeah.
Again, he gave the 2 years when he was a kid, he saw UFOs. What did his mother say? Well, you don't want to talk about that. What would the neighbors think of us? Remember that?
Right. Now, yeah, that's sign of the time, early to mid 1960s.
Oh, it still would be the same way now. Seriously, if I had young kids yet, okay, and they come running in and said, hey, I just saw a UFO, I'd say, that's nice. And if they go, yeah. And, I'm going to call the police. I'm going to say, don't do that, because people will look at you like you're off. And what's it going to make them look at us like? No, I don't think it's a time of when it happened. People are still in denial when they hear about it. They don't want to hear about it. The thing is, there's a lot of fake crap out on the media. Right now, people are, have you noticed all the Bigfoot and UFO and alien photos is appearing everywhere, and people are trying to pass this stuff off as real to get their 30 seconds of fame?
Yeah, especially within the last few days. My goodness, there's like a bum rush of them. Today alone, there was a bunch of them, or is it just me seeing it? Because I'm all, every day I'm always researching and getting all these reports from all different fields. And you're right, the cryptid thing the last couple of days, and UFO videos too, have really been amped up.
Well, I have software because I've been in photography pretty much all my life. And I have special software loaded on one of my computers. So I analyze a lot of this stuff. And I can tell when stuff has been dropped in or manipulated. I can tell by the contrast of, we'll say, if there's a cryptic next to a tree. Well, I know that the sharpness, if the thing is next to the tree, the two are going to be the same focus point. In other words, right. One of them is going to be slightly more in focus or slightly out of focus. They're both going to be the same. Exactly. Then I start looking at the contrast. And then I start looking at the surrounding area. And then I start, with my software, analyzing that surrounding area. And that's a dead giveaway when I catch a lot of these phony pictures. I've only seen 1 or 2 Bigfoot pictures that I would say certainly are real. I can honestly say out of thousands of pictures of UFOs I get a month, I would say thousands of them are phony. As simple as that. I'm sorry, people, but I mean, what can I say?
Yeah. And even the UFO I saw, I was like, am I really seeing this thing? And the really thing that convinced me, I'm not saying it was
alien. Were you smoking anything when you saw it?
What's that?
Were you smoking anything when you saw it?
Nope, never smoked anything. Never smoked a cigarette in my life. Or I don't smoke anything else either. But and this was broad daylight. And this thing was high, going fast, and it was cigar shaped, and there was no exhaust or anything. Now, I'm not saying maybe it's some secret craft our military has. I don't know. If so, then we do have something that's equivalent to what we think some of the aliens have. I'll say that.
Oh, that or Oscar Mayer Wiener Company, shot off their cannon with a hot dog and it went up into the atmosphere.
I mean, this was and it had to have some size to it too, because it still looked big, even though it was, really, it was way above 50,000 feet probably. And it was just, I was in awe. I was so at awe, I forgot to even video it, but I did snap off a few pictures.
Well, that's the whole thing, okay? If you see something, be it a cryptic or a UFO, you got your cell phone. Your mind doesn't sit there and think, oh, take a picture of it real quick. You're in shock for a few microseconds. And then you're kind of like gawking at it because you're still in shock. So, think about that. So the odds are the average person, I'm going to get this picture of this, whatever. It's not going to happen, people. It's just not. Anyway, we're going to go on break. And then after the break, James is going to be doing some Earth Changes news. And then we're going to bring, who's our guest again, James?
A.J. Ensor. I believe that's how you pronounce the last name.
Ensor, that's right. And we're going to talk about his book about UFOs and his definition of UFOs. And we're going to be live yet on Facebook for about another 10, 15 minutes. At that point, you can go to www.nightdreamstalkradio.com. click on the live button. You can continue listening to our guests. So we'll be back in about 8 minutes. So everybody, just stay tuned.